What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. It is time to have a look ahead at my Game Week 31 transfer plans. Welcome back to another video, everyone. FPL Harry here, and today we're going to have a quick look ahead to my first thoughts, my first transfer plans going into Game Week 31. Before we do that, we're going to try and hit 1,000 likes on the video. We've already hit our subscriber goal for the season of 50,000 subscribers, so thank you all very much if you've already subscribed, and if you haven't already, feel free to click the button and join the FPL Harry channel. So, looking at how my team lines up for next week, things are not looking great, particularly because of a couple of injuries that we've got in my squad. I'm currently thinking I'm going to start David Raya in goal over Kepa, just because Chelsea defensively don't look that great. Brighton look really good, and I fancy the potential clean sheet for David Raya over that of going and starting double Chelsea defence, because of course I've got Chilwell in my starting lineup. Also, of course, Trippier will be in there. He is playing against Watkins, who's in my team, and then currently it's Luke Shaw. Now, Luke Shaw doesn't sound like he's going to be out for very long. Whether he's back for the Nottingham Forest game yet or not, we don't currently know. On my bench, I do have Rico Henry, who does have Wolves away, and if worst came to the worst, I'd probably end up just benching Luke Shaw and starting Rico Henry in my team, unless we think that Luke Shaw is going to miss Game Week 34. Now, of course, Game Week 34 is the real game week we're looking at, because that is the big double game week. That's the week we know we're going to need Luke Shaw in our teams for. Moving into midfield, it's not looking great, particularly Marcus Rashford picking up that injury. Doesn't look like he's going to be back probably for Game Week 34, which is, again, the real timeline that I'm looking at. If he's out for more than a month, I will definitely need to sell him. Bruno Fernandes, again, looking like he played deeper in this one, but Casemiro is back going into Game Week 31. Eriksen is back going into Game Week 31. So Bruno Fernandes should be further forward. Plus, with Marcus Rashford out, a lot of the weight of the creativity and the goal scoring will fall on Bruno Fernandes. And I think he could actually be quite a good asset going forward. And I have no problem having him in my team. And if you've got him, I wouldn't panic as well. Starting double Brighton midfield, again, Matoma was absolutely robbed. Brighton were robbed in Game Week 30. How we didn't get more returns from those. Solly March with a 7-pointer. I'm quite happy just starting these two every week. Whether the points go to Matoma, whether the points go to March, the chances are they tick over quite nicely. It was March this week with a big 7-pointer, which did dig me out of a bit of a hole this week. And then Matoma unlucky, but it could easily be him next week. And finally, the worst transfer of my season, it is James Maddison in midfield. Finally, the time has come where he has this Manchester City away fixture where I'm very happy to sell him. And then up front, it is Ollie Watkins and it is Erling Haaland. Now, my bench, I do have Dominic Solanke, although he didn't score this week, played well again and has a decent fixture, okay fixture away at Spurs, where I still think he could get something. So if worst came to the worst and I had to start him, he's first on my bench. Rico Henry might end up subbing in for Luke Shaw. And then we have Botman away at Aston Villa last on my bench. So in terms of potential transfers, of course, I need to consider whether Luke Shaw is going to be back and exactly how long he's going to be back for. Now, the early diagnosis is that we don't think he's going to be injured for that long, and he should be back for Game Week 34. And with the sort of leaky defences we have knocking around at the moment, there aren't that many defenders that I really think I should go and buy in his place. So chances are I end up keeping Luke Shaw unless there's a bit of a turn and whether we think he's going to be out for longer, because it was a muscular injury. Now, he was taken off as a precaution, but there is a chance that he flares up. There's a chance that it gets worse and he actually gets that proper muscular injury, which does keep him out for a while. So in terms of those defenders that I could potentially bring in, Estupiñán stays on this list as he was last week. Still a difficult fixture away at Chelsea this week, but from Game Week 33 onwards, he'll definitely be coming into my team, probably for Rico Henry if he doesn't come in for Luke Shaw earlier than that. Now, again, the fixtures this week, not great, but going forward, plus the double in Game Week 34, plus Brighton predicted to double in both Game Week 36 and 37. Having a triple up on Brighton is great. Now, Lewis Dunk did score this week, and he is the most nailed Brighton defender. There is a chance that I just err on the side of caution with the rotation that we could see for Estupiñán when they play sort of 5 games in the space of 2 weeks towards the end of the season, that I just opt to go with the safer pick of Lewis Dunk, who plays every week. But I could finish my triple up on Brighton by selling Luke Shaw for one of them. The new player on the list is Alex Moreno. Aston Villa looking so good, both going forward, as we all know, owning Ollie Watkins, but defensively as well. Tyrone Mings, very popular, but slightly cheaper, is their left back Alex Moreno, who's come in and displaced Luca Dean so far this season. So I could move to him. How many times I play him going forward? Maybe not that much. I'd probably start him this week. It's a good enough fixture, but do I really think that Newcastle won't score against them? Probably not. I might use them in game week 33 again, but again, I don't necessarily think it's worth a transfer if I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet this week. Now, the defense that I really like the look of, and I potentially made a move for them going into game week 30, but decided not to, is that Manchester City defense. So John Stone's the one that I'd look at. Ruben Diaz as well, also another good option, plus Nathan Ake, the cheapest of the lot. The only concern for them is they do leak stupid goals. As we saw in game week 30 again, they've closed out a game, they're winning a game comfortably, and then they concede a sloppy goal that completely doesn't change the output of the game. We've seen this so many times this season. Defensively, they actually have the best underlying numbers in the league, but when you look at actual clean sheets, they are not top. Newcastle go top, and Manchester City do drop down the list, again, because of these sloppy mistakes that they are making. So I could, again, move Luke Shaw. I could actually move the likes of Rico Henry to one of the Manchester City defenders and just bench Luke Shaw as well. Leicester at home is a good fixture. Leicester look really poor whether they're playing at home or away so far this season. Maddison, the main man who's likely to score goals for them, doesn't look at it. So I do expect a Manchester City clean sheet. However, it could be like Southampton where they just leak a goal at some point late on in the game. Is it really going to be worth a -4 when I do have other transfers I need to make? I think probably not. So I think the defensive transfer, unless Luke Shaw is ruled out for a long time, is likely to be put on hold. The other obvious transfers we have, of course, are in midfield, and that is both Marcus Rashford and it is James Maddison as well. Marcus Rashford, I don't want to sell, has Nottingham Forest this week, doubles in game week 34, but he might be injured. If he's injured up until game week 34, I will have to sell him. If he's injured short term and I can get away with playing maybe Dominic Solanke this week and keeping Marcus Rashford for the long term, then potentially I do that, but I don't think that's likely. Ten Hag said the injury didn't look good. I don't think he'll be back in time for game week 34. And then we have James Maddison as well. He's been really poor. Leicester have been really poor, and they play Manchester City away this week. I also always penciled in selling him this week, and that is absolutely still the plan. Now, that would mean I'd have to take a -4 if I wanted to sell both of these, but I do have one transfer, and I have 7.5 million in the bank, so I've got plenty of money to spend. The options that I've looked at, Mo Salah in for James Maddison was a transfer that I really liked, and it is still a transfer I am considering making. They have Leeds away this week, and Leeds have just conceded an absolute ton of goals at home to Crystal Palace in game week 30. I do like Mo Salah, plus there's no Europe for Liverpool as well. I'm recording before the Liverpool versus Arsenal game though, so it might change depending on the form that we see in that one. They then double in game week 34, plus having a decent fixture in game week 33 as well. It's worth reminding you that I am playing my free hit in game week 32, so I don't need to worry about the blank fixture that he has that week. Next up, I have no Arsenal, and they might really look good again against Liverpool today, and I might think I need to go back and buy one of these, and I could just go back and buy Bukayo Saka. I could go and buy Martinelli as well. The only issue with them is that the fixtures going forward are quite tough. I do expect them to win a lot of these games. I do expect them to win the league, but they are tough. The amount of hauls I see in this is probably not that high, plus they don't double in game week 34 as well, which is the next game week that I'm really looking to target. So a more sought after option, a more premium option that we've got in here is probably Jack Grealish. Although he's cheaper, but he looks really good. He's hauled in both the past 2 games. He looks nailed in that Manchester City team, which I know is such a dangerous thing to say. But they have Leicester at home this week. I will, of course, wait to see the Champions League minutes that he's get. He's already risen in price. People are hoping that he doesn't get injured in the Champions League midweek, but that could easily happen. So I'll be waiting towards the end of the week to decide if I buy Jack Grealish. He looks really good, especially with Phil Foden out. He looks pretty nailed, plus the double that they do have in game week 34 as well. So here is my team for game week 31 as it stands now. I currently think if Marcus Rashford is ruled out for a month, I will make 2 transfers. I'll go Marcus Rashford and Maddison out for Jack Grealish and Mo Salah. Of course, it might depend exactly on how many minutes I think Jack Grealish is going to play, but I like him long term. He can sit in my team. They double later on in the season as well, and I'll play a 3-5-2. Still, Erling Haaland, very, very likely to get my captaincy armband. Again, it might depend on minutes in the Champions League, but I still think with the rest that they have that he should be fine to start against Leicester and be my captain as well. So this is my team for game week 31, my first transfer plans as well. Let me know what you think. If you'd go Grealish, are you going him, are you going Mo Salah? If there's anything else you see with my team that you are considering as well, drop it all in the comment section down below. We're going to try and hit 1,000 likes on the video as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for subscribing if you have already. Like and subscribe before you go, and I'll be back again very soon.